This
All right.
conference will now be recorded.
I think it said we're now recording. Yes, quickly.
Go into executive. I want to see that money. Just like
We're recording now.
Okay.
without the other two here or.
I'd like to call this March 27th meeting of the Chesterfield Township Committee to order. We'll start with our flag salute and moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, if you could read the sunshine statement and take the roll call, please.
Sure. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting has been given by filing written notice with the Township governing body and the Township clerk, mailing written notice to the Township's official newspapers and the Township website, posting written notice on the official bulletin board in the Chesterfield Township Municipal Building, and providing notice to all who have requested same. Ms. Hughes? Mr. Litt?
Yeah.
Ms. Scottsdale?
Here.
And for the record, Ms. Batra and Mr. Doherty are not present.
Thank you, Karen.
Mhm.
Do we have any agenda matters requiring recusal? Seeing none, I'll ask that we have a motion to approve the minutes for February 20th, March 5th, March 13th, the regular and executive sessions. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then we can go to public comments for matters on the agenda only. I'll take a motion to open the meeting for public comments on matters on the agenda. I need a motion.
Oh, that's right.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have anyone who'd like to make a public comment about anything on the agenda this evening? Seeing none, Karen? No one online now. I'll take a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We had one ordinance for public hearing this evening, but we will be we will be postponing that ordinance to the April 10th meeting. Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, motion.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to table the ordinance to the April 10th meeting.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have 4 resolutions this evening. 2 of them, I'm very happy to say, are to resolutions appointing 25-306 and 25-307. Resolution appointing Jake Piantandita
Not easy.
as a full-time police officer, and the second is a resolution appointing James Salvino as a full-time police officer. So happy. I'll take a motion to accept to move these 2 motions. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please welcome them on our.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm looking forward
that's
to
great
their
news.
swearing-ins. Do you know when they will be?
Hopefully the 10th of April, if that's.
Yes. Oh, I think that should be great. Thanks. Great. Moving right along, I'll take resolution 2025-3-08, a resolution adopting the emergency operation plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have a final resolution, 2025-3-9, canceling taxes due to a veteran's exemption for 93 Bordentown Chesterfield Road. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'll take a motion to accept the bill list as presented by our CFO.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Reports and discussions. Does anyone have anything they'd like to report about your boards or your committees?
I'll just say the Environment Commission did not meet this week or this month, so we'll have an update next month after we meet.
Thanks, Rebecca. I had a couple of things. One is I just wanted to say that our Chesterfield Alliance Against Substance Abuse has got a busy month coming up. April the 2nd, they'll be presenting a program here called Hidden in Plain Sight, which is a program for parents of preteens and teens and educators and anyone else who's interested. basically educating parents about how kids hide drugs and vaping and the impact of social media on teens. I attended this with Janice DeJohn, who's the chair, when we were deciding whether or not they wanted to do this program, and it was really eye-opening. My kids are grown, so it's kind of, but I'm hoping to get a good turnout because it was really, I think it would be a real benefit to parents. And then on April 17th, we're going to start this summer's round of Music in the Square, and we're going to have Rachel, it's Fitzpatrick? Patrick King. I'm sorry, I can't remember his last name. And he was the young man that did the music at our Harvest Festival. So he's going to be here on April 17th.
Oh, he was
in
great.
Music in the Square. He was. So I'm hoping to get a good turnout for that. And then the other thing I just wanted to mention was that on May 4th, the Green Team will be having our annual Green Fair in Village Square Park. So those are some things I hope people can put on their calendar.
You actually reminded me, there are 2 Environment Commission events coming up. Saturday, April 12th at 10 a.m. We're doing an Arbor Day celebration. The state actually stopped their tree giveaway that you may have attended in the past, but different Environment Commission members and community members have actually potted trees from their own property, and we'll be giving those out. So save the date for that. And then we're going to be planting a tree at noon on the same day. And then I know it's a ways away, but it will fly by. Saturday, May 17th, we're doing our rigid plastics recycling event that we do annually. So that's like little Tykes toys, flower pots, like kitty litter pans, anything like that that's rigid plastics. It's a good opportunity to be able to dispose of them in an environmentally sound way.
Thanks.
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good. We like to get these things out so people know. Okay. Anyone else?
Just on correspondence, I just wanted to mention that a resident, I think she sent it to everyone, but a resident had sent me an email regarding Marjoram Road, which I forwarded to the chief. It was Marjoram, right?
Yes.
Just asking about once Marjoram is paved, there were concerns that it will become a speedway. I think she sent it to.
I did. I was going to mention that further down, but thanks
Okay.
for mentioning it. Because, yeah.
So I don't know that there's really anything to discuss at this point, but I did forward the email to the chief, and at some point before that road's ready to go, we should probably discuss. Is that, unless you want to wash it and say it's a non-issue, or it's something you're looking into, or somewhere in between?
But I'll be happy to have further discussions on it. I'm aware of that resident's complaints. There's been several over the years. We've been responsive to it. So far, our observations haven't necessarily substantiated much of an issue out there, but that's not to say that there's not speeders on occasion. So, but we could certainly have more conversations on it.
Okay, thank you.
I took it to mean that she was really concerned once the road was widened.
Yeah.
But I think that's something we'd have to address once it was widened and see
Yeah,
if that increases.
and in that most recent email, I believe she did allude to that. But
Yes.
Yeah.
If the concerns lie there, then perhaps tying Joe
Yeah.
to those conversations would be appropriate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also feel like we kind of need to see, once it's widened, what the traffic.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right about
But
that.
thanks
Just something for
bringing
everyone to
that-
be aware of.
No,
Yeah.
thanks, Matt. Actually, I did have one other thing. It's sort of, I was going to mention later, but I'll bring it up now because it does kind of come under boards and commissions. Is I did get an email, and I don't know if he sent it to everybody or just to me, from a member of the Economic Advisory Committee, and he was asking about meeting, and I had told him that we had discussed that when we had a reorg, and we decided we weren't going to start that until we finished our budget season, but we finished the budget season. So I couldn't remember who was going to be the liaisons to that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember if we
So,
even decided.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So maybe we'll just bring it up again on the 12th, but I did tell him that.
I'll let you
Did we
know.
answer?
I'll look and
Okay,
I'll let you
let
guys
us
know. Yeah.
Send us an email. And then whoever it is maybe could start to think about getting back. And I'll send you, it was Chad Pluck, and so I don't know who else is on or who else is still interested, but I think we need to get that moving.
Yeah.
Okay. moving right along, I'll say administration. I had one thing also that I just wanted to bring up just because, and I don't never know when I look at the emails whether we all get these emails or whether they just go to, but there was an email that I had gotten from a group called GI Go about doing a red, white, and blue day on May 22nd. Did anybody else get this?
Yeah.
It was and I just looked at their website, which looked pretty good, but I think that we'd want to, they said on Red, White, and Blue Day on May 22nd to support veterans and their families. And it would be, like to do a small donation and have, you know, people encouraged to wear red, white, and blue. So I thought it might be something we could discuss maybe at the next meeting, but I'd like to look into, maybe you could, if you have a few minutes
Can you send it
before
to
the
me?
12th? Yeah, I'll send it to you. I just want to make sure this is legitimate kind of an organization, but their website looks pretty good. But I think it'd be a nice thing to do, and maybe at the meeting around that, if we decide to go forward, we could do like a proclamation, maybe saying, Red, White, and Blue Day to support our veterans. Because we have quite a few, as we know from doing these veterans exemptions on the taxes. We have quite a few that live in the township, and I think it'd be a nice thing to honor them around Memorial Day. Okay, that's all I had. George, did you have anything you wanted to?
I have several items of correspondence since we discussed this at our last meeting. I got an email from a resident with concerns about the cricket field and the usage. I believe everyone got copies of that. We had 2 exchanges. There were a number of concerns about how much they're paying for the use of the field, a complaint about behavior there. There were a number of issues. The hours of operation. So I responded twice, a second time today. I won't go through everything, but the resident, I haven't heard back from the resident. So we'll see where that goes. But I think we had good responses. One of the issues was, the suggestion was to put right field on our website so that everyone knows that they can use the field. So I talked to Rachel, we'll be doing that. And there were some issues over the fees. Our ordinance has a certain layout of fees for groups to use, camps, activities as such. And also then there are fees on a per player per season. And when I talked to Rachel, the resident raised a good point. Rachel advised me, she's here with us. I'm sorry to talk to you like you're not here. That several years ago, the committee made a decision that our local groups would be charged that lesser fee if they were primarily local residents. Also, if they didn't have the availability somewhere else to play their activity. So that's been applied.
A little bit, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sheila.
So I think you guys are familiar. So the CTAA, if they're renting our fields, they're renting like for baseball or soccer, it's $5 per player per season. Back when the cricket was established, the committee and other people, we decided that the cricket, because they were primarily Chesterfield residents, cricket was really the only option. That was the only option for them. It would be the same thing, $5 per player. The Mud Dogs, same thing, because the CTA doesn't have a lacrosse. Is the Northern Burlington and the NBIAA, I believe, as well, because baseball gets regionalized much earlier than any of the other sports. I think it regionalized at like 4th grade or something like that, or 5th. So it's and nothing to do with the rec building. That's $25 an hour, but it's the fields are $5 per player per season. The other fees are more based on like travel teams and camps and things like that. The other fees that are in the application.
So the other things are either professionals or they're things that come from other townships that's not our own residents, correct? And that's when they get charged.
Your response was comprehensive, George. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it really was.
So there was also an issue raised, and Rachel and I agreed. I think we need to modify the ordinance. I think we ought to make it reflect just what Rachel explained more clearly, because it was a little confusing when I first looked at it, and Rachel explained it to me. But also, there was a limitation on how many days per week and how many hours per session, and it said a maximum of 2 hours. Well, there aren't many baseball games that go in 2 hours. Cricket is obviously more than 2. So we were thinking we could come up with some amendments to the ordinance. Also, we never did address the fees. You gave me feedback on that. So I think we should do something along all of those lines and do it all in one fell swoop.
In one ordinance?
In the fee ordinance and also the recreation ordinance. Well, it's actually under fees. All of that is under.
So it would what be one ordinance and you just like to
Yeah,
make
just
those changes?
to make it reflect what the real practice is.
And then we would discuss at that time what we had brought up before and about the changes to the fee structure.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I just use that as a jumping off point for something else? But I've been meaning to mention this and I haven't. So I'm not sure if I'm asking you, George, or you, Dominic, or both. When I was on the Board of Ed, we had something called board docs, which issues every year their form policies, so that and then your school can like go through them and amend them as necessary for your particular school. I'm wondering if there's anything comparable for a municipality, because it seems like we have so many ordinances that don't make sense anymore. They just haven't been looked at in 50 years, where there's some kind of a program that has model ordinances, which we would obviously have to adjust to suit our needs, but where we're not like looking at things on a case by case basis and saying, this hasn't made sense in 50 years, we should change it. Because I feel like we're always reactive, and I don't know how else we would do it based on what we have. Is there anything comparable?
Not that I'm aware of. I feel like every municipality is doing exactly what you're saying. They're being-
It's an awful way to do
It's just,
it.
it's
I
just
mean,
kind of how it happens.
Yeah,
It's like
but you say,
organically
yeah,
happening when things come up, and you're reviewing the ordinance, and then you're saying, "Wow, this is a little antiquated."
yeah, I want to review the ordinance before things come up.
I understand. I guess you would need someone to just go
Lawn-
through the code and
Lawn signs.
And many ordinances are instituted in response to a specific incident.
Yeah.
But then they carry over. Whatever that situation or circumstance was goes away, and you've still got this thing that governs everyone else in the community. It really isn't needed. So,
Right.
usually you have to have a problem to realize the shortcoming of the ordinance.
Right. That's what, and it shouldn't be that way. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Got an email about levels of service by the landscaper in Old
Yeah.
York Village. I talked to Troy about it. Troy also spoke to the reporting party. I wrote back with how we're going to proceed. Troy is going to monitor and also speak to the contractor just to reinforce what the levels need to be in compliance. And also at the end of this year, this is the last optional year for the renewal. So if we continue with contracted service, we'll have to issue an RFP anyway. So I did invite the reporting party to engage. He is a contractor. So that one was handled.
Now, my question is if, and I'm saying if, say Troy does say there was some validity to those concerns.
Mhm.
When you get an RFP, and one of the people is someone that's already, but you've had concerns about their service, you don't have to go with them even if they're the lowest, or can
I
you?
would defer to Dominic, but if there's a bad history there,
yeah, there's mechanisms in the statute that if there is, you can disqualify for prior negative history and things like that.
Do they have to?
You would have to outline that in like
Yeah.
your resolution awarding it or whatever.
Because this was more just, it could be better kind of thing. It's not like, that's the thing. It's a kind of a slippery slope, I guess, or
Yeah, I mean, if you're, if there's serious about looking into something like that, I would have to take a look and look at the history, because there are certain thresholds, I guess, in the statute, or certain exact types of prior, what constitutes prior negative experience. So it depends on what we've experienced here, and if it matches the statute or fits in the statute or not.
and the items that were described, I don't see them as really major failures to meet.
no, they weren't major.
Contract.
But I was just thinking if you had somebody, I don't know, depending on what the difference in the price was,
Mhm.
did a better job. I don't know, but I didn't know how strict it was. So I guess it's something we can look at. We still have a while on this contract anyway.
As this is coming up, do we have any update on the staffing levels at Public Works? Because I know this is all revolving around them hopefully taking over the contract next year, and there's been issues with finding people. Do we have any update on where we're at?
I believe, what did we get, one new applicant that he was going to interview? I thought he had a new one. It seems that he'll tell me we're going to interview somebody, and within 2 or 3 days, they're gone. They found another job. That's been occurring quite frequently. I thought he had one new person to look at. I'll check.
Yeah, I don't know where that went.
It's slim pickings out there. Really, it's difficult.
Could you just let us know?
Yeah.
Could you let us know? Because, yeah.
But just a couple other items under correspondence. You had a message that I forwarded to you, and it looks like tonight was a good bounce back on reports of committees and boards.
Yes.
So that was passed along, and I let the resident know that you were made aware. Also, I got an email from a resident about a suspicious person on Fenton Lane. The police had responded. It was a surveyor who was working for the Bentley Drive development. And just to let you know, I did write to the attorney for the developer and asked him to make sure that if they're going to have people in the neighborhood, that if they're going to go anywhere other than the street in front of our residents, if they're going to be behind there, please let us know or let the police know ahead of time so that we don't have residents alarmed, because there's going to be a lot going on out there. So I wrote to Mr. Moore. There was an issue with the HPC over an action by the board that I forwarded to Dominic, and he issued his finding today. And that was relayed to the resident, that the action was in compliance with our ordinance on emergency certificate of appropriateness. Our ERI grant, the Environmental Resources Inventory, this was since 2022. On St. Patrick's Day, I did the closeout report and sent it in to Sustainable Jersey. And I haven't heard back yet. It was all done online. We did receive our 30 hard copies. I don't know if any of the members of the governing body have received one yet, but we got the box just a few days ago. So they've fulfilled all of their obligations to the township.
On that note, two things. One is the planning board is going to vote, I assume at their next meeting or within the next couple of meetings, and attach that to our master plan. So that's formally going to be part of our master plan for the township. And second is, if could just ask if you could give those at least to see how many, but some to the planning board, see how many copies they want of that.
Yeah, Aggie was going to check with them.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And in that final report, I did advise Sustainable Jersey that was anticipated, that they were going to incorporate that into the master plan for the municipality.
Great.
A warning letter was sent for sidewalk maintenance issue. So Glenn has started that process. We've talked about how we're going to proceed if we get complaints about sidewalk maintenance issues. So we've sent out our first one. It's a warning. It's going to give the resident ample time to come up with a plan to try to resolve the issue. The recycling yard, we met 2 weeks ago. That Sunday, March 16th, the yard was open from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m., and that will continue. So that's been addressed.
Can we post that
It is
Yeah, it's on the website.
on the website, and I think we put it on the
Facebook it too, and-
Facebook. I think it was all posted on there.
Okay.
If not, we can make sure it goes out again.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, George. You've been busy.
As soon as we talked about emails, they came pouring in.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah, well, no, you've done a great job responding to them. Does anyone on the committee have anything else they'd like to add that we didn't already cover?
Just with the recycling yard, can we make sure that the signage is updated there? Because I was there a few days ago and it doesn't reflect that it's open Sunday. If we can
Okay.
just make sure that gets updated as well, please.
That's a great point.
And I just wanted to, so Rachel mentioned the NBIAA. So last week, the Majors girls team from Chesterfield won the NBIAA championship,
Oh.
which is 12 teams from here, it's from the sending districts plus New Egypt. And I thought it would be a neat idea to invite the team to our next meeting so we could do something.
We could do a proclamation.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Yeah, and so my daughter's on the team, to be
Yes.
in full transparency. But I also thought it would be a really neat precedent to start. And I swear I said this when I started on the committee. I wanted to bring people here for new reasons.
Yes.
And I thought this was an opportunity to maybe start that.
But I had started doing proclamations when I first became mayor, and then
You did, yeah, you're right.
but I really like the idea of recognizing people in the community. I think it's a great idea.
We have a lot
And
of
I
people
agree.
doing a lot
Yes,
of
doing
cool
a lot of
things.
great
Yeah.
things. And I think you're right. This is a great place to start. And I think we should also encourage people from the community to reach out to us and say, hey, this person's doing this person's doing that, you know.
I think the girls are gonna
People are,
kick it.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
they'll love it.
Yeah,
And
that's a great idea.
honestly, they'd otherwise have no reason to come visit this beautiful building. And I think it's a good opportunity.
Right. And we showing them that, you know, we appreciate what they've done and celebrate it.
There's so much negative and
Yes.
complaints that it'd be nice to celebrate the wins.
Yes, that's right.
They may have complaints.
Well,
I'm not promising anything.
yeah, that's a great idea.
So if you could just, Karen, put that on the agenda for next time, and at the top of the agenda.
Yep.
Thank you, and thank you both for your support on that.
Okay. If we don't have any more comments from up here, I'll take a motion to open for public comment.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We have anyone?
What would a meeting be without Dawn having a public comment?
It's actually a good one. Dawn Donahue, 79 Boardtown, Chesterfield Road, Chesterfield, New Jersey. So this is for Dominic. When they first hired you, I'll admit, I was a little standoffish because, I need you to prove yourself. And after going to the Lumberton Township meeting the other night, I'm proud we have you. Let's just say you've been prepared when it needs to be. That's Solicitor, not so much, and we won't mention any names. But I was very disappointed in him, and I felt bad for the residents. And I did mention that, and I said, I'm proud to say that I'm from Chesterfield, because there was an issue going on. That was a hot-bedded issue, and he was not prepared to answer any questions with it. And I'm like, this is something you should have been prepared for. I get if someone throws a curveball at you, but this was everywhere. When I mean everywhere. 101.5 everywhere. But anyway, so I want to say that I am proud that we have you as a solicitor. You have proven yourself. So it's actually a good comment, guys. Thank you for all your hard work, everybody. Thank you for all the things that you guys put on. And like I mentioned again, go get that Patron pie, guys. I don't get any kickback. I just want everybody to know that. It's just a really good pizza. And it's a good way to support a local business too. So, all right. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Dawn. It's
Thanks,
nice to
Dawn.
hear
Thank you,
good, to hear nice things said.
Get your RFP ready for Lumberton. Yeah.
Do we have anyone else at this time? Why not?
For the record, it's Carl Braun, live on White Pond Road, Chesterfield. I'm here tonight to share information with the committee because it's always healthy to be aware of what the Historical Society ambitions are for the year. We're beginning to work on a agricultural barn museum behind our headquarters building. There's a red barn that has been restored and it's waiting for a new use. And we're fortunate to have a lot of agricultural equipment and barns that are, been idle for years. And we're putting together perhaps an educational history of agricultural use in Chesterfield. And the barn will be the centerpiece. There's donations by many families who've been here for far longer than I have. And it should be a kind of a very interesting thing to add to the flavor of the village and, where we've all come from. So that's happening. We have a visit to the Jimison farm outside, I always say Lawrenceville. It's not, it's along the river, to see how they develop their format for educational interest in history. So that's coming. We also, because of the interest in the village, are proposing a small sign in front of the Ward Avenue Museum. It's a 2x3 educational sign. It shows the history of the three villages in Chesterfield, and we'll be applying for the permits necessary to install it. It's only knee height. It's 2x3, 2 aluminum struts to hold it, and it's a plexiglass type display. So we'll need a zoning permit, we believe, and perhaps construction. I know Karen was good enough to give us some direction on that. So we'll apply for whatever we need, but we wanted to let you know that the small sign is, we seek that. And you'll perhaps see this on your agenda for building needs. And if the committee could waive any kind of permit fees, that would be super. It just every penny counts these days, and if you could help us with a waiver of the review fees, that would be perfect. What did I forget, Karen?
I thought you were going to forget that. That's why I was like, but you remembered.
Okay.
That all sounds really cool.
Huh?
That all sounds really cool.
Yeah, I think it could
Posted when
be.
You,
I'm sorry?
keep us posted when you.
Oh,
have
yeah,
it.
you'll hear the
I
rumblings, you
know
know.
Matt.
At the
last
fair,
year
I'm sure there'll be a lot of drum beating going on, you know.
I know Matt last year when you did the museum.
Yep.
He was there to the dedication of that, right? And helped
Sure.
with that. And I think
Sure.
going forward.
Yeah,
We'd
it's a
love
lot
to
of
support-
things. You know, you think that quiet building is just silent as a library, but that's not the case. There's a lot of things evolving. All
Yes.
for the good, public good.
I would
Yes,
absolutely
wonderful.
support waiving the fees if that's something we can do.
Can I have a motion to waive the
Yeah, let's-
zoning and construction? The only part of the construction we won't is if there is a state fee associated with it, but whatever township fees we can waive if the township committee can do that. If you make a motion to do
Okay,
that, we
well,
can.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. There you go.
Thank you. You're very
I
kind.
didn't realize it would be so easy. That's great.
Hey, all.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Do we have anyone else? Seeing no one in the audience, Karen, is there anyone online? Okay, if we have no one, I'll take a motion to close public comment. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So I guess we're going to have a brief executive session. Do we need to have a resolution?
That will be resolution 3-10.
3-10. I'll take a motion to move resolution -3-10, calling for an executive session. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening.
Thank you.
We won't have any
No formal action.
No action after this.
This conference will now be recorded.
To adjourn, please.
Motion. Second.
All in
Thank
favor?
you.
Aye.